Kapla, everyone, and welcome to the Tethys Shipyards. I am Takeshi Yamato, the Yardmaster, joining our host, the Housecoat Gamer.
Yo.
Today, we are starting the Mogh-Class starship, classed in Star Trek Online as a Battlecruiser.
Due to its size, however, I would be more inclined to call this thing a heavy cruiser. It's roughly the same size, though not the same weight, as an Excelsior-class starship.
Right.
In point of fact, I'd like to just get this out of the way. The alt skin for this thing, the Federation version of this thing, the Avenger, also uses the Inquiry class skin. So, we might as well just get that out of the way. It's going to be, fact, very similarly to the Inquiry, which I know is in the book.
Yeah, it's in the book. It might have a slightly more weapons focus, but we'll figure that out. Anyway, for starters, we need an enter service date.
2400, roughly.
Yeah, 2400. Well, we'll put it at like 2407. I figure it was built as part of the Bordescu project.
Just like everything else. Let's be perfectly honest. Just like the Audi and the Avenger are very similar, this thing is essentially a miniature Bort.
Yeah. Anyway, that's... next we need to determine the scale. You said this thing was the same size as an Excelsior?
Roughly.
Right. So we'll go ahead and give this thing a scale 5. So overall, that will give us 61 points to work with when statting it.
Don't mind me, I'm just trying to make this thing look like a miniature Bordescu.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, now let's look at the stats for the Inquiry. Inquiry. Okay, here we go. Inquiry. So the Inquiry is another scale 5 ship, so that works. They launched that in 2394, so they had 60 points. And they had comms 10, computers 10, engines 10, sensors 11, structure 10, weapons 9.
Hold on.
So obviously the Mogh will have a bit more of a tactical focus being a Klingon ship. Sensors at 11 doesn't seem right. I'd say probably sensors 9 and weapons 11. Okay. So they had everything else at 10. We have one more point, so I'll put an extra point into structure. Figure we can reduce computers down to 9. Klingons don't have that much of a computer Klingons don't focus on that all that much. And let's bring the weapons up to 12. Give this thing a decent amount of boom, because that's what the Klingons do. They make boom. That's the Klingon. That's how the Klingons are. They focus on making things go boom. Let's see. Does it say anything about... Right. Weapons and structure. Yeah, I'm on the right track there. All right. Well, I'll need to get Ron's feedback once he gets back, but I think that's pretty much good. All right, departments. Going back to the inquiry. They had a point in con, point in command, and a point in science. Well, the Mogh is probably the same thing, just command, con, and security.
Apologies, I had to deal with a phone call.
Right. Sorry about that. But anyway, I've adjusted the stats from the inquiry and added a point. So the Mogh has comms 10, computers 9, engines 10, sensors 9, structure 11, weapons 12.
It is a gunship.
Yep.
Literally, it's a ship mounting nothing but guns.
Yeah. And for departments, command +1, con +1, security +1. The inquiry is sort of the same, only it has +1 science instead of +1 security.
Klingons.
Yep. Now, talents. Let's see. The inquiry has ablative armor, improved power systems, and improved warp drive.
Why change what
Ablative.
works? This is this is basically just the Klingon version of the inquiry. Why change what works?
All right. Ablative armor, improved power systems, improved warp drive. Now, weapons. Obviously, we're going to be changing that up a little bit. First, the inquiry had phaser arrays, phaser banks, quantum torpedoes, and a strength 4 tractor beam.
This is very much a photon boat.
So, photon torpedoes instead of quantums?
Yep. What's more easily available?
Yeah,
Quantum
fair
torpedoes, which require synthetic neutronium of all things. Or photon torpedoes, which even Voyager can mass produce if they've got the available resources.
Yep. Okay, so... And
anti-Voyager people, get over it.
Yep. For energy weapons, disruptor banks and disruptor cannons.
It's a Klingon ship.
Yep. And Klingon starship for traits. And I figure cloaking device. Special rule cloaking device. I mean, they have it as an option for a talent, but it can be just a special rule instead.
The ship does have a cloaking device built in, unlike the Avenger.
Yeah. So, special rules. Cloaking device. And, alright, well, I think that's pretty much it in terms of stats. It's a decent looking boat. I think the original Mogh skin could probably use a few touch-ups.
Effectively. A little more linkage towards the Bordesque would be nice. Perhaps smaller nacelles to, well, reinforce it a little.
Yeah. And
Maybe when
But
Picard drops its third season, they'll actually include some Klingon ships, including a Klingon version of the Inquiry.
yeah, maybe.
That is, however, about as likely as a Gibble latching onto my head and granting me trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
CBS is not filled with people who know better.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. Well, all we can do is wait and see.
Alright. Bye.